Good morning, class, and as always, I am your professor, Mary Ainsworth. For your homework, I assigned everyone to listen to a podcast that I was featured in which I spoke to you about how the recent COVID situation relates to my research about attachment theory. To summarize quickly, I went over the three different types of attachment styles: secure attachment, anxious attachment, and avoidant attachment, and how people with each attachment style might be reacting to the current COVID situation. At the end, I gave tips for caregivers on how they can help their child form healthy attachments. If you have not yet heard the podcast, I strongly suggest you to listen to it after class as it is testable material. So, I have been keeping my eye out to see if other psychologists are also giving their thoughts about the current COVID situation. And I came across an interview by Brenda Milner. In today's class, I wanted to share with you my thoughts on her interview. Firstly, for those of you who are not very familiar with Brenda Milner, she is a British Canadian neuropsychologist known as the founder of neuropsychology. She discovered the part of the brain called the medial temporal lobe, which includes the hippocampus, and has done extensive amounts of research on memory. Notably, she worked very closely with H.M. You should all be very familiar with him by now, as we looked at his case study in Lecture 2. All in all, she's an extraordinary woman who has unarguably changed our understanding of learning and memory. In Milner's interview, she was asked about her thoughts on the psychological impacts of COVID. In her response, she said that healthcare workers should pay significant attention to individuals with dementia, as she thinks that it is possible to neglect these patients. I do agree that mental well-being of dementia patients should be of top concern, but equally as important should be that of young children's. I'm not saying this simply because I am a developmental psychologist, but similar to dementia patients, young children may also have trouble with communicating their emotions during this time. And young children may also be showing personality and behavior changes. Because development is so crucial and fragile, I think special attention should be paid to those both in latter stages of development and early stages of development. Another point I wanted to make was, while Milner touched on the importance to address mental illnesses that may arise or be exasperating during this time, I was quite sad that she didn't go into detail about how it relates to her research. But, as I mentioned earlier, Milner has done extensive research on the hippocampus and memory. Studies have shown that the hippocampus can shrink significantly due to severe depression and stress. Since we touched on the hippocampus' role on memory in earlier lectures, I'm sure you can all infer what kind of impact that would have on someone's memory. Well, I think we're nearing the end of class, but please do watch Brenda's interview before our next class. Feel free to add any comments or thoughts to the discussion board and have a good one. Bye, guys.